Hi there and welcome to Freaky Friday. So I am in my wee garden patch here and I'm coming to get some calendula because today I am honoring Santa Muerte. So I want some calendula for my little vase as I'm working, and I'll bring you along for that journey because we're going to be creating a cradle today for the altar. So I'm just going to pluck some here and join you back again in a second. Okay, I've got 6 plucked here ready to go. And my idea is to put it into one of my dishes I made in pottery years ago with a little attachment for plopping flowers in. Let's see how it goes. Okay, this is a dish I made many moons ago. And I'm just going to put a little water in it. I thought this would be nice on the altar for Santa Muerte. And this goes here. So this is from one of my ancestors. And then I'm just going to plop in some flowers. Now I pulled 6. I might have to go get some more later if I wish. And I planted calendula, but there seems to be a mix in here. But I do like the colors. Oh, I'm concentrating on what I'm doing, sorry. So there is my little dedication so far to the project that I'm doing. So welcome again to Freaky Friday. So what have I got going here? Well, I was watching some videos and I enjoyed the fact that some of the statues for Santa Muerte had these little cradles. Now I bought the box and husband has added these little cradle parts at the bottom so I can rock it. And what I want to do is paint the inside red. And I've got some paint here. I've got my little piece that he cut out of cardboard and I've wrapped some fabric around. Got some water for the paint. Some choices there. And by the way, if you're into painting, these servers from years ago for hard-boiled eggs make great dishes for painting in. And I discovered this doll at Winners. And so I'm going to be working with that on my altar. I brought some selenite. This is iron my husband found. And I really loved the shape of it and the cragginess of it. So that's so far sitting here. I know that the internet was suggesting amethyst, so I did bring some of that. This I don't think is labradorite, but I like the idea of the dark moon there in the clouds. And this rock has always intrigued me. So that is coming along for the ride. I have my dark moon oil and I have a labradorite ball. But what also got my interest was on the internet they talked about, and I wrote it down here, a candle chimney, where you have a clear jar that you place your wishes into crystals, place the crystals in the jar, and then when it's full, you take it to a graveyard. How fascinating is that? So I'm all set up here and guaranteed to get paint from head to toe. That's just me. Let's get busy. Okay, for some reason, I wanted to paint the inside red. And yes, then put that insert in. So I found this art paint of mine. It's amazing how old it is. Like me. But it's still in pretty good shape. So I'm just putting in a layer on the bottom too. I think the cardboard he made me fits pretty good. So I'll continue with this part and get back to you. Okay, I got the bottom first layer done, and she just seems to be calling for me to work and learn from her. I have tried on a couple other occasions, and I do have a book that I've been rereading. I like watching Essence of the Moon because she has that witchy content, Selena. So I'm hoping that if anyone like Selena has information she wants to share with me, if she's not offended that I'm working and hoping to work with Santa Muerte, I've got my altar downstairs cleared off and ready to begin a new adventure. I have my Santa Muerte deck that I'll show, and I have the Ofrenda Oracle, and I was born on the Day of the Dead. Maybe that is part of why I love watching Halloween movies, and there's one in particular, but I can't really think of it right now. It's an animated one. I think it starts with C. Love that one. And okay, so my red is done. I'll do a little bit along the top here. And then I'm going to let it sit for a second and begin to do the black. Can't put the cloth in yet. I know that everybody's eager to see the finished product, but it takes a little bit of time to make things happen, right? So let's pause. Now I had another color going here, which is the Professional Quality Permanent Crimson Acrylic, but I kind of like the Ozone. I always loved Stevenson Paint, but they went out of business a few years ago. So I'm fortunate to have some of their paint. And if you hear some sawing, my husband is busy making something in the garage. He and I just cannot sit still. We moved to this property and we are just so eager to have this time to create that we just fill it every day. So I'm going to push pause again and I'm going to shut the door so we don't have to hear him. Now the idea of the cradle is I was seeing some altars with cradles on them and the Santa Muerte tummy enlarged like a pregnancy. And I thought, how great, because we use our imaginations to change things, do a little magic. And if I can tune into that with my crystals, the altar, the idea of reciting some prayers and doing some offerings to Santa Muerte to move myself along in what I'm trying to manifest and learn about working with her. The idea of the cradle, again, was to place inside it some, and I'll show you those, skeletons. And the idea of the cradle representing birth and transformation. And I just like the fact that my hubby was able to make it rock back and forth. So I'm going to continue with this and get back to you. Okay, getting a little further now. It's nice to be able to hold on to this and not get too mucked up. But again, back to the cradle. For me, it's the idea of rocking that cradle and maybe entering that sort of meditative state, doing so as we concentrate on what we're transforming and bringing that element in. And maybe it will be skeletons in the cradle, maybe it will be more crystals in the cradle, maybe it will be written sort of requests for help from Santa Muerte going into the box. And maybe when I release the crystals at a cemetery, then I can release those pieces of paper with the wishes, desires, the aid that I might be seeking to manifest what I want. But, you know, if anyone else has an altar, I'm sure there's zillions of people out there. Do you have a cradle on it? what have you used the cradle to represent? Or how have you put things in the cradle? Do you have one that rocks? And especially, I'd love to see some things, some photos on the chandel chimneys. That fascinates me. I know it's intention and I can use just a jar. And that's what I will do for now because I didn't see any sold on the site I was looking on. And I'm going to pause again because it's going to get messy here and set this down. Now in my dark moon oil, I haven't asked my pendulum yet if Santa Muerte would like this, but I was drawn to it, and if I can get it in focus. Come on, hello. Oh yes, there we go. It's got rosewood, jasmine, and patchouli in it, and 3 drops of each in some holly oil. And the other idea that I saw on the internet on some of the dolls was that they took a little, it appeared, I guess a stuffed piece of cloth to represent the pregnancy belly, and it was just sashayed around, tied onto her belly. Because if I'm going to have this doll next to the cradle, I would love to see her, with that pregnancy belly. And maybe that's why the cradle might just have crystals and things in it instead of skeletons, because we're anticipating what this time together, this pregnancy, I don't know, it's all formulating in my head and it just hasn't come to fruition yet. But I think I'm going to be working on that, and maybe it will be red cloth again or black with a silver. I know that there's colors that mean certain things, and that is in the book downstairs. I'll show you after. So let's get back to this. Okay, I've got a little bit more, very craggy today, sorry, to do on this last little leg, and that basically is just one coat. So I will have to do another so that it is more finished looking, and I imagine because this is cardboard that it's going to soak up some of the color, and I'm going to want it to be fairly black, that charcoal black. But there is the cradle. Move this out of the way. And I'm going to have to do a little bit more around the red yet, but you can see it rocks. And that was the whole point of it all. So, yeah, I'll probably go along the edge with a little bit of black and keep the red to the interior. I think that looks a little bit more finished. Sort of a scratchy sound. It's nice too to have a selection of paints at hand and not have to go purchase them. And I'm a great thrifter, as you know, if you've watched my channel. So anytime at the thrift store that some paint would go on sale, I would grab it. Okay, we're going to leave that there for a second. Now, I didn't hot glue or anything this, and I hope I don't get black all over it. But all I did was wrap a piece of cardboard that matches the interior with the red, and I'll have to do that again later, and just pop it inside. So let's take this stuff down and I'll show you where I'm at the altar. Okay, the way the light is streaming in, this is my best angle to show you. So I've got my Ofrenda Oracle, I've got the Santa Muerte Tarot, I've got my Dolly, who's going to be pregnant soon. And I guess so far this amethyst stone is going to be my first one to direct some energy into. Get it into focus. I'm not going to. Anyway, you've seen enough of amethyst stones to know what they look like. Probably use some dark moon oil. I'll have to pick some candles. I have this gorgeous cloth that I want to reuse again, this reddish velvet. my labradorite, my selenite. Thinking of using this mirror. And of course I do have some skeleton babies here. And this is the book that I'm rereading again. You can see the author there. And it does go into the colors and things like that that you can bring to the altar and why. So I need to do that again as far as reading. And I'll try to keep the flowers on the altar for as long as I can. They seem to be happy blooming out there for me. So I will leave this for now and say check back again, and maybe this altar will be coming together a little bit better, and all of your information that you wish to share with me about setting up an altar would be greatly appreciated. So this is Craigie saying have a fabulous day.